Hello and welcome to part 2 of this Cambridge A-Level paper 2021, paper 4, in which we are going to deal with task 2 as required by the question paper. So let's go down to the question and have a look at what it entails. Now, task 2 says you will create an animation to show the gates passing through the shield. So set the frame or stage size to 640 pixels wide by 480 pixels high. And then you are given an illustration of how the digits will go through the shield. And it says distort the shield image so that it appears that the shield has been turned slightly sideways. Now, use the digits.png image to show a continuous stream of digits passing through the left to right through the shield. When the red digits reach the center of the shield, the pop.png image must obscure the red digits until they have disappeared. No red digits must appear to the right of the shield. Save the animation as an animated GIF or SWF, file named virus shield, followed by your center number underscore candidate number. So as the question requires, we are going to go into our animation software known as Adobe Animate, which I have opened here, and as required we are going to create an artboard or a stage with 640 pixels in width and 480 in height. Per default, Animate has a standard preset already with that size. The HD is 1280 by 720 and the full HD is 1920 by 1080. So we are going to go with the standard, which is 640 by 480. And then we select create here. I'm using Adobe Animate version 2020. So we have our stage here all set, and then the next thing we are going to do is import whatever we need for our animation. So to begin with, I'm going to begin with bringing the shield in here first. So to do that, I'll go to File, Import, and I'll say Import to Stage. So I'm going to select my shield, the final version that we created, the one with the transparent background, this one, and then I'm going to say Open. Now I'm going to resize my stage and say Fit to Window. And then I'll need to resize my shield as well so that it fits into the stage. So to do that, I can use the free transform tool here, or you press Q or on your keyboard, and I'm going to hold down Shift to maintain the aspect ratio of the shield. Hold down Shift and drag down to resize. I think this is okay. So the next thing we will need to do is we will need to distort it a bit, make it look as though it's facing the left side of our screen. Let's have a look at what we have in the question paper first. Yes, so that this is how it's supposed to look like this. So back in Animate, still using the free transform tool, we bring our cursor to the right of the shield, and when we see the horizontal arrows, we drag to our left till we have something like this, and then bring the cursor to the right side, and then when you see the vertical arrows, you drag upwards a little bit, tilt it a little bit, and then we are good to go. Let's compare. Yes, I think so. I think we need to squeeze our shield a little bit. Ours is still looking a bit wide, so use a horizontal and then up a little bit again, not too much. I think it's okay. Now we can bring in the other items that we need for this. So to do that, this time around we are going to, let's rename this layer first. Double click on the layer down here and then name it to shield. And then go to file. We are going to import to library, and this time around we are going to import the digits and the pop. Now I'm going to provide a link to this or to the source folder in the description of this video. So if you want to practice, you can have access to what is needed. Now we have the pop and then the digits showing here in the library. The pop is white, so in the preview you don't see anything. So the next thing we are going to do is create a layer, a new layer down here, and let's drag our digits onto that layer and then reposition it such that it's on the left side of the shield, because that's where the movement is going to start from. And let's rename it as digits. Now, looking back at the question, you realize that the digits flow through the shield and come out from the back of the shield. And then when the red zeros and ones hit the center, and then the pop must show. So to do that, we need to do a little bit of masking. But before then, let's convert our digits to a symbol. So we select it, right click and say convert to symbol. You can name it 0101. Click OK. And now if you select, you should see this blue outline around your digits. Fine. So to create the shield or the mask, we need to duplicate this shield first. Reason being that we need a portion of the shield replicated, so that it makes it look as though the numbers are traveling through the shield. Let me quickly get that done so that you understand what I mean. So to do that, I'll need to select the rectangle tool here and create a rectangle just from the center here to the end here. So I'm going to create a new layer for that, place it on top of all of them, and rename it rectangle. with my rectangle tool selected, and I'll draw my rectangle to end just where the shadow ends. And now let me reposition it somewhere here. I think this is okay. Cool. So we are going to create or duplicate the shield, this shield that we've done here. So I'm just going to right click on the layer and say duplicate layers. So we have a copy of the shield right here. So I'm going to place this shield layer just beneath the rectangle. And I'm going to click on the rectangle we've created up here, right click and say mask. You see that nothing has happened though, but what has actually happened is, let me hide this shield, the last one here. This is what has happened. So we've recreated a replica of the shield just on top of it, just on top of the original one. So with the digits layer, I'm going to insert a motion tween. So I'm going to go to insert, create motion tween. Now I want the motion to last for 3 seconds, so I'm going to bring my cursor down to the side of the motion tween, and if I see the 2 horizontal arrows, I drag it to the 3-second mark. You realize that the shield and all others are gone. It's because they don't have frames on the 3-second mark. So all I need to do is, for the shield down here, I select the 3-second mark, right click, and then I say insert frame. So I'm going to select the shield, the replicated one here, come to a 3-second mark and say insert frame. In all instances, I'm just inserting frame. And for the rectangle, since I don't want it to start from the beginning, or I can let it start from the beginning, I can also just say insert frame. So I'll just say insert frame. Insert frame. Okay, so we have it. Now select my digits layer, and with my head, or with my playhead on a 3-second mark, I'm going to drag to the right, like this, like this. So just as the red hits the shield, that is when your pop must come in. So I'm going to stop the movement at that point and replay what we have. So I'm going to create a new layer on top of all of them, and I'm going to bring in the pop, place it just there. I'm going to use the free transform tool to resize it such that the red digits don't appear at all. And I'm going to do some resizing for the shield as well. I'm going to expand it. Okay, let's leave the shield. I think it's the pop I need to resize. and then reposition. I think something like this is okay. And the pop must begin from the 3-second mark. So I'm going to select the, let me rename it to pop or explode, and then select the keyframe that has been created here by default, and then clear it. So when we clear it, you see it's no more there. We want it to appear here at this point. So at this point you can say insert keyframe, and reintroduce the pop. When I say reintroduce, just picking it from the library once again and dropping it at where you inserted the keyframe. So when we replay this, this is how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to add at least half a second to all the frames. So right click and I'll just say insert frame, and I'm going to go into control and then I'll test what we have so far. Okay, so by dimension and stuff, it might not be exact or to perfection, but this is the idea behind what the question requires. So the next thing we are going to do is to save our work, and as required it says save the animation as an animated GIF or SWF. Name virus shield, so I'm going to use the name that has been provided here. So I'm going to copy this and use this to save my work. Once again, you are reminded to keep on saving your work every 5 minutes in the generic format. That is, if you are not ready to save in the format that is required, at least in the generic format of the software, you keep saving your work. So I'm going to go into File, Export, and then from the drop down on my right I select Animated GIF. So from the preset panel, make sure everything is correct, and then just press enter, and then rename it, and say save. So let's go back into our exams folder and check. So we have our virus shield on which we can double click and replay. So I think that does it for this tutorial. Do well to like and subscribe and comment. See you in the next tutorial.